it's interesting because we were both there watching Marcus Page on his senior night. And I teared up on the thing because that's why I got into coaching. You see, like everyone looks at the coaches today and looks at the $1 million contracts and looks at, where the stage that they're on, and they think that's what everyone aspired to do. No one aspired to do that. I mean, Roy Williams started selling calendars for Dean Smith, running around all over the state, with North Carolina calendars. That's how he was able to feed his family. He didn't get into coaching for money. He got into coaching because he loved the game and he loved everything about it in terms of mentoring young people, helping them get somewhere they couldn't get themselves, the relationships that last a lifetime, getting invited to a player's wedding, getting invited to or getting an announcement on having one of your former players having a child, seeing your players become better people, seeing them become husbands and fathers and growing up and being productive members of society. That's why you got into coaching. It wasn't about the money. And when I was sitting there listening to Marcus Page that day, it got emotional because it made me miss what basically I did for a good portion of my life, because you don't get that same satisfaction of doing this. But Roy Williams did it at the highest level. But the business of college basketball, not college basketball, not coaching, not teaching, but the business of college basketball, in my mind, drove him out of coaching. And it's sad because you don't have the same relationships. The transfer portal, one and done, everything that's going on in our game, the lack of stability of your roster, the lack of time to develop those relationships is no longer a big part of the culture of college basketball. And I think that drove Coach out of it. And it's sad because we're losing a great coach, a better person, a tremendous mentor. And here's the thing, Jay, you lived it because you were down there all that time. Have you ever heard a player that played at Carolina for Roy Williams ever say anything but positive things about him?
No. And we're having Danny Green come on later today. Mm-hmm. And Danny talks about the fact that Roy was like a father to him.
Yeah.
Like a father to him.
That's what coaches usually become for players.
Yes.
I mean, that's the relationship that you tend to have. And if I could just set it up here for you, and again, you heard it in our open, and of course we credit Westwood One NCAA Radio Network. Roy Williams stepping away after 33 seasons of coaching, retiring from North Carolina. He led UNC to 3 NCAA championships in his 33 seasons as a coach. 903 wins. 903 wins. He graduated from UNC, 18 seasons with the school as a coach, 3 NCAA titles, also 5 Final Four appearances, 9 ACC regular season championships, 3 ACC tournament championships as well. 70 years old. He's already in the Naismith Hall of Fame, which is no surprise. And, when asked why now, why this was the time, it was an interesting response that Roy gave. Let's listen to that.
Everybody wants to know the reason, and the reason is very simple. Every time somebody asked me how long I was going to go, I would always say, as long as my health allows me to do it. But deep down inside, I knew that the only thing that would speed that up, if I did not feel that I was any longer the right man for the job. I'm not going to say the best man, because I never thought I was the best at anything. But 15 years at Kansas, I thought I was the right man. And this time at North Carolina, I thought I was the right man. I no longer feel that I am the right man for the job.
A lot of humility there in those words. But Seth, when he says, I no longer feel I'm the right man for the job, it can't be about X's and O's, can it? It has to be about something that's happening in the sport that you were just referencing.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with X's and O's. I mean, like Roy Williams, the Carolina way is alive and well. It's timeless. The style of play, the speed that they played with, how they made you react to them defensively. It's the business of college basketball. The business of college basketball has changed. It hasn't passed Coach by. He has a choice. Do you want to engage in the business of college basketball? Do you want to enter the transfer portal? Do you want to basically be seduced by one and done? Do you want to basically compromise your values? And I'm saying all coaches compromise values, but I'm talking about right now, you've got to re-recruit your team every single day. Every single day, or you know what, they're going to be up and gone and they're going to go to the next place, because kids don't want to fight through adversity. They don't want to deal with waiting their turn and the quote-unquote process. Our sport has nothing to do with the process anymore. Roy Williams was about the process, developing players. You watched his big guys and how much better they got. You watched guards develop. He's been through 3-point guards in 3 years. 3-point guards in 3 years. Nothing against it. But, I mean, the whole idea, the business of college basketball has changed. And it's not an old man, young man thing. It's a decision-making thing. It's a choice. Do you want to engage in the new world of college basketball? Because you know what? It's hard to coach players right now. It's hard to coach players hard right now. It's hard to have a standard. It's hard to have core beliefs and non-negotiables. Because if they don't align with, say, a player in your program as a freshman, there are so many voices in these kids' ears that are basically saying the grass is greener. Well, the grass isn't always greener.
Seth, prime example of that? I mean, look at Jalen Johnson this year over at Duke, right? Like, my freshman year, I got benched multiple times. My freshman year, I got challenged in front of all my teammates about maybe I wasn't good enough to be here. If that happened in today's world, I would have had so many people in my ear, well, go to Kentucky, go here. You can play 45 minutes here.
Right.
You're not going to have somebody to challenge you. And how you respond, I was forced to respond to that, which – by the way, that's who I am every single day. Like, this show has been different for me doing radio 24/7. You know how many calls we have, Alan, right? That's never been the case here. But if I don't have that mentality that I got challenged my freshman year, like, a part of me would just quit. Oh, that's too tough for me. I'm not built for this. But in the way I see it now, I'm like, oh, you keep forging through. Keep getting better. I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to be relentless. Kids don't have that same kind of grit because they have too many options.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus right now.